Congratulations. You're being released as asylum seekers, not as citizens, not yet. You will be sent to a home of our choosing. You must not move from this address.
What if escaping war doesn't mean escaping fear? What if safety, on paper, still feels like a prison in real life? Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fahri Akbar. My metric number is 290,868. Today, I want to talk about an underrated Netflix film titled His House, a psychological horror film that quietly delivers one of the most powerful commentaries on human rights, particularly the rights of refugees and the right to live with dignity. At first glance, His House looks like a horror movie about a haunted house. But if we look closer and deeply, the real horror is not supernatural. It is structural, political, and deeply human. Okay, His House follows a refugee couple from South Sudan who survived civil war and granted asylum in the United Kingdom. Legally, they are safe. They are given a house and temporary protection by the state. However, their new life comes with strict surveillance, constant threats of deportation, social isolation, and a complete lack of emotional support. The film uses horror imagery to represent the trauma they carry and the hostility of the system that claims to protect them. From a human rights perspective, the film directly engages with the right of a seek asylum as recognized under Article 14 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. While the couple is technically granted asylum, the film exposes how this right is treated as conditional rather than fundamental. Their safety depends on obedience when mistake could result in deportation. Protection becomes something that can be withdrawn at any time. This reflects a broader reality in international refugee policy, where asylum is often framed as a privilege instead of a human right. Beyond legal protection, His House also highlights the right to adequate housing and human dignity as recognized under Article 11 of the ICCSR. The house provided by the state is structurally unsound, socially isolating, and emotionally hostile. It fulfills the minimum requirement of shelter but fails to provide safety, belonging, or dignity. Through this, the film sends a powerful message. Providing shelter without humanity is not protection, it is containment. Okay? About the trauma, mental health, and also the structural violence. One of the film's strongest contribution of the human rights discourse is its portrayal of trauma. The horror element represents PTSD, survivor's guilt, and unresolved grief issues rarely addressed in refugee policies. The states recognize the refugee physical survival but ignores their psychological suffering. This silence reflects a form of structural violence where harm is caused not by direct force but by neglect and systemic indifference. What makes His House especially effective is its communication strategy. The film doesn't lecture the audience about human rights law. Instead, it makes viewers feel fear anxiety, and also alienation. By doing so, it transforms abstract human rights concept into emotional experiences. Viewers do not just understand refugee trauma, but they also feel it. However, there is also a risk. The horror genre may distract some audiences from the structural human rights critique, reducing the story to mere entertainment. This shows both the power and limitation of popular culture in human rights communication. For the conclusion, His House reminds us that human rights violations do not always happen at border or battlefields. Sometimes they happen quietly inside policies, institutions, and everyday systems that lack empathy. The film challenges us to rethink what protection really means. Is survival enough if dignity is absent? And answering the question, His House proves that popular culture, when used critically, can be a powerful platform for human rights awareness. That's all for the review of His House 2020. The film is available in Netflix. You guys can see it, and you guys can feel the connotation and the relevant with the IHR context. That's all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.